Not only did Skylab advance our understanding of the sun, but it also tested our ability to harness the sun's power in space. Check out this model of Skylab. Something is missing. Something very critical. It looks lopsided, right? During launch, severe damage occurred as the sun shield tore away from the workshop, taking one solar panel with it and jamming the other one.
The extent of the damage became apparent to us very rapidly. We first confirmed that the one solar wing had completely left the vehicle and was no longer around. We could see the damaged wires at the hinge line. Then as we got around to the side where the jammed solar wing was, it became immediately obvious to us that this little tiny metal strap that had torn off the heat shield and meteoroid shield had jammed the solar wing.
This deprived Skylab of most of its electrical power and thermal protection. NASA feared it would be unsuitable for humans to live and work on board. For 11 days, Skylab baked in the sun, while NASA engineers scrambled to devise a new sunshield. Repair of the station was a priority on the first manned mission, when 3 astronauts served as repairmen. The first task was to deploy a modified sunshield to lower temperatures inside to livable conditions and to protect the equipment. The next critical task was to free the pinned-down solar panel. Without the electrical power, the station would be unable to conduct any large experiments. During a spacewalk, freeing the stuck solar panel was a challenge that tested the courage of the astronauts and their safety tethers.
So Joe tried, and then we decided to tighten it up again, and I'd try, and I got under it, and boy, it broke. It let go in one big hurry, and there I was, launched into space again, free floating, hanging on the end of this string. And well, by the time I got straightened out again and looked around, why, there it was, out and deployed.
Successfully repairing the station allowed the astronauts to stay in orbit for nearly a month to conduct experiments and gather data. The mission tracked a large solar flare.
Well, the advantages which manned spaceflight offers are in the area of repair and maintenance, which we've demonstrated time and time again on Skylab. As a matter of fact, the whole Skylab series of flights would have been a failure had it not been for the ability of the first crew to repair the space station.
Skylab went on to be a successful working laboratory. Inside, you can see how the space station's living quarters, work, and storage areas were designed to support the astronauts. Check out that shower. Can you imagine showering in space? A somewhat complicated process, but necessary. 3 separate manned missions showed that humans could live and work in space. Complex scientific experiments provided data about the Earth, the Sun, and the human medical condition while in orbit around the Earth. Throughout the mission, the crew monitored their daily activities to see what features could be improved. The lessons learned from Skylab proved essential in future space station design. If you look up at the right time into the night sky, it might appear to be a shooting star. In reality, it's a massive structure that's one of the most complex engineering projects humans have ever completed. The International Space Station is an orbiting laboratory that's been continuously operated by humans for 15 years. It's been a home away from home to over 200 astronauts. Inside, it's larger than a 6-bedroom house and has quite a view. Since you can't exactly run an extension cord down to Earth, the only source of energy is the sun. 8 solar arrays are attached like wings. Each array has 2 panels. The gold side glimmers in the sun and reflects the sunlight. This is what makes the space station visible on Earth. But the blue side, well, the blue side is the most vital because it's the electronically active side. Electricity is essential to power the daily living activities on board, to run the scientific experiments, and to manage all the computers that control the station. Combined, the 8 solar arrays provide 216 kilowatts. That's enough to power 72 houses on Earth. Part by part, the International Space Station was assembled over several missions and several years. Imagine Tinker Toys in space. NASA developed a method of mounting the solar array on a blanket. The blanket folded into an accordion to be compact during launch and delivery. Then, once in position, the solar array blanket could be deployed, or spread out, to reach full size. Though, installing the largest structure ever built in space had some challenges. Stiction is an engineering term to describe what happens when something sticks together. The neatly folded solar arrays refused to neatly unfold. Some of the solar cells were sticky. NASA engineers quickly developed a practical solution. Deploying the arrays only halfway allowed them to heat up in the sun and decreased the stiction.
Okay, Houston is go for one more shake, and it sounds like you folks are too.
After about 30 minutes, astronauts used more tension to pull the arrays completely open.
But it's definitely not stuck anymore. That is beautiful.
Each array weighs about the same as a small car, but each individual photovoltaic cell is as thin as a CD. This means they're very delicate. Every kink had to be straightened. Every tear had to be repaired. Like stitching together a blanket, astronauts basically sewed together torn sections by installing cufflinks to prevent further damage. Each array has 32,800 photovoltaic cells, so patience and perseverance were critical. The International Space Station orbits or goes around the Earth every 90 minutes. The solar arrays are designed to rotate 360 degrees so that they always face the sun to capture as much of the energy as possible. Combined, the solar arrays produce more electricity than is needed so that rechargeable batteries can store the extra energy. That way, when it travels into the Earth's shadow, the space station still has a constant power supply. On board, nearly 13 kilometers or 8 miles of electrical wire run through the station to power the constant flow of activity. Providing consistent and reliable energy has allowed for humans to explore space and make new scientific discoveries. The innovations of the International Space Station solar arrays pushed the boundaries of engineering and technology. Next time you look up and spot the station, remember how we harness the sun's energy for space exploration.